when we think about ethical use of data, we hear every day about the huge potential that there exists in data to make our lives easier, to solve real-world problems, to process very large quantities of data and search for patterns in a way that we've never been able to do in the past, and to find solutions to issues that have been confronting us, to actually identify and uncover opportunities. At the same time, as the Minister said, we also hear about huge risks. We hear about the Cambridge Analytica. We hear about profiling, which effectively introduces bias into decision making. The critical thing for us, it seems to me, is that we need to find a way of identifying that balance between innovation and protection. And constantly we need to be calibrating to find that balance. Data can identify innovation and improvement. It can be used to prevent social harm. It can resolve issues in terms of border analytics. It can support people to make better decisions at the community level. But it also can be used for harm. And so we need to be constantly asking ourselves the question, we can, but should we? Is it the crux of that ethical question? So in terms of the 2 days that we have in front of us, what I'm encouraging you to do is, as the initial speakers did, free your minds, ask hard questions. The whole point of having this summit is to challenge ourselves. And soon you're going to hear from Kathy, who is, as the Minister said, an international expert who's drawn on her really impressive data science experience both in the academic and business worlds to basically sound a warning about some of the more questionable ways in which modern algorithms are being used in everyday life. And I think for many people in this room, weapons of math destruction has almost become required reading for many of the data shops around town. And it's really timely to have her here to help us reflect on some of the ethical considerations of embedding algorithms into the way that we do things. And I'm hoping that Kathy's examples will truly challenge our thinking, and if anyone's read her book, and I'm sure people have in this room, you know that they will do that, and fuel our conversations in addition to the coffee over the next 2 days. In terms of my role as data steward, I do see it as being to help us continue to have these challenging conversations. I also know in this room that we've got people from a variety of different worlds. We have people who are doing the data analytics. We have people who are decision makers. We have people who are using that data and those decisions to actually drive activity at the community level. We have people from communities, the communities from whom that data comes. And one of the critical issues for me in terms of the conversation over the next while is not just about how we use the tools that are available to us, how do we understand bias in decision making, how do we actually think about ensuring that the limitations of data and the strengths of data mean that we actually get even distribution of outcomes, focusing on where the limitations can actually take us and the strengths of that data. But in particular, a focus on putting the power of the data back in the hands of the communities from whom that data comes. How do we think about that? How do we think about the frameworks, the forms of governance, the capability building, and the partnership that will be necessary to make that work?